From Cask Cartel, this is the Cartel Hour. I'm Cameron Stevens.
And my name is Seth Benheim.
Together, we're tasting all kinds of spirits with master distillers, celebrity guests, and more. We're here to learn a little bit and drink a little bit. So grab a glass and let's enjoy. Welcome back to the Infusery for another episode of the Cartel Hour. My name is Cameron Stevens.
And I'm Seth Benheim, and we are here today with none other than Yelawolf.
How's it going, man?
What up? What up? How you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic.
Awesome. This is exciting. You've got a whiskey brand called Creekwater.
Yes, sir.
And we are here today to learn all about this stuff and your journey from, growing up in Alabama to becoming a world famous and international music star. And now you are paving another path here with hit whiskey that is winning all kinds of awards. And we're trying it for the first time today.
I know. I
with
haven't tried it. I'm excited. So, before you kind of came out to do this, what's been the most recent project you've been working on?
Well, 2020 going into 2021 was probably the busiest I've ever been in my career. The first album I recorded was an album called Mudmouth with Jim Johnson, and we wrote it's a hip hop record, front to back, and we wrote a movie treatment for that, and we got a budget for the movie and went out to Mexico City and shot a movie for Mudmouth.
Whoa, a feature length or
a full length feature
wow.
film?
Okay.
For that album. Before we went out to Mexico City, I came out to LA and recorded a rock and roll album with Shooter Jennings.
Wow.
At Sunset Sound. All analog, no 808s, no rapping. It's all singer-songwriter, rock and roll, So I'm really, really excited for that. And in between all that, just on the music side, we've got about 6 projects coming out. Mile Zero with DJ Muggs from Cypress Hill.
Nice.
It's all 93 analog.
Okay.
Early lo-fi hip-hop vibes. I got Del the Funky Homo Sapien on that record.
Nice.
So a real dope throwback style, a style no one's heard me on hip-hop wise. Black Fall, Slim Mafia with DJ Paul from 3 6 Mafia produced that entire project. Cask and I did an album called Yelawolf Black Sheep. Riff Raff and I did an album called Turquoise Tornado.
Is that the Tiptoe 4? I was listening.
Yeah,
I was listening
Tiptoe is
to
a
that
part
this
of it, and
yeah,
I love Riff Raff, man. He's
that's a good song. I was listening to one of those songs this morning.
He's just fun,
excellent.
man. He makes shit fun, he gets me out of my seriousness, and I just have fun making music with him. But yeah, we've got a lot of shit coming out this year, man. The clothing brand, the whiskey, is just a lot,
I feel like most people that would be talking about what music they did last year would be talking about number of songs, and you're talking about number of literal albums.
Yeah, literal albums.
What number are you at this point?
By 2021, I'll have 7 albums.
Oh man!
Wow.
By the end of 2021, there'll be 7 albums recorded. I don't know if they'll be out by the end of 2021, but there'll be 7 in the bag, because by the end of this next week there'll be 6 in the bag, and then I have a project to record with my boy Malay. Malay produced all of Arena Rap and Love Story. Malay did American You and Have a Great Flight, and he also did Disappear and Empty Bottles. He was one of the earlier producers with that vision of musical genre bending style, that we conceptualized years ago. So getting back in the studio with him and just coming full circle with the sound.
Well, speaking of empty bottles, we're gonna try to empty this Creekwater here on the show today.
Not too shabby.
Dude, if you empty this Creekwater bottle, curtains.
They're not going to let me back on the show probably, but we'll have a fun time with it.
So, yeah, you poured me up. Thank you.
Yeah, I poured everyone up. It's got some Creekwater now.
Hold on a second. Let me get myself some too.
Get some Creekwater going. And
is this the OG? This is OG, right?
This is the OG. We got just the original. So we got 2 bottles today. We got the original American whiskey, Creekwater American whiskey, and then we have. I actually really didn't even recognize at first that you had a second product, and then I looked it up. When we were talking about getting Creekwater original on the show, and I was like, oh wait, there's a cinnamon whiskey that goes along with this. And as I started looking up more about it, reading reviews and all that, it's pretty amazing that you've been able to put out this other product now in short order and get this thing up to where it's going. Really, really exciting. And the bottle itself is awesome. It's got this devil red paint to it and a red font. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Very, very cool. But we'll start with dinner, and then we'll have dessert after, which is we're going to start with the Creekwater. So 50%, 100 proof. I actually was able to find the mash bill. It's 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley.
Yeah, and it's got that rye spiciness for sure. There's kind of like this cinnamon thing happening here. I mean, not as much as I would imagine for the actual cinnamon whiskey, but
yeah, there's a bit of it. Yeah,
a little bit of kind of spice backbone that I quite like.
Oh man. Okay, so I'm having my first sip here, and it's worth mentioning. So Creekwater, name of your first debut album, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Creekwater is definitely tipping the hat to the first project that I recorded in the basement of my little house in Gadsden. Recorded everything on an MPC 2000, all the vocals through an MPC 2000. Like the most gully way to create a record possible. So.
And now you got a whiskey named after it.
Yeah.
When you were doing that then, did you ever think you'd be sitting here talking with spirits guys and traveling the country doing interviews about your whiskey that's now in Walmart? And do you know how many states your brand is in now? Roughly?
Man, we're in a few, I would say what did David say? Over 1,000 mom and pop, like, stores, including big chains, you know what I mean, like with Creekwater. Some like Frugal McDougal's is a huge, like,
Tennessee.
Yeah. Like we broke a few records at Frugal McDougal's, which was a huge deal for us.
For those listening, that's a huge store in Tennessee that every brand that goes into Tennessee wants to be in that store. It's like number one.
Yeah, we actually had there was a CMA festival, Country Music Awards Festival in Nashville. And there was this really, really big artist, and they were going to have a bottle signing on a Saturday. We were booked to have a bottle signing on a Saturday. They bumped us to Sunday, thinking that this big artist was going to pull in a huge crowd, and we pulled up Sunday, and there was like a line a mile down the street to come get the Creekwater bottle. So I have to mention that without the fans and the fan support, that this whiskey, and it wouldn't be where it's at right now. It's just that the fans, for so many years, we've talked about whiskey, celebrated whiskey, and we set record sales of whiskey at our shows, and David Long, our head of sales at Creekwater, he approached me. My mom called me. I was just cruising around Nashville, headed to the studio. My mom's called me, and she says, there's someone here with your own whiskey. I have a brick and mortar in Nashville, Tennessee called Slumerican Made, where we sell vintage clothing and boots and hats, and it was at one point a barbershop, tattoo shop, and so my mom was running the shop at the time. She goes, there's someone here with your own whiskey? I was like, what are you talking about? She like literally, there's someone here with your name on a whiskey bottle. And I was like, I've been there 5 minutes. So I pulled up, and sure enough, he had a bottle. It said Catfish Billy, Alabama's own, Slumerican Made. He had created like his own label. He just fully had this presentation. I was impressed with his hustle. And I tried it, and I was just blown away, man. I couldn't believe that a whiskey that tasted like this, he was saying we could get out of the door for $24.99, Jeez, and I was like, damn, dude, if my fans could taste something other than cheap whiskey for the same price, like just something with some more notes that's not so simple. I mean, I grew up drinking cheap whiskey, Canadian Mist,
Yeah.
The plastic bottle kind of stuff.
Jack Daniels,
Velvet.
you know,
Yeah.
like I love Jack Daniels, but you know, Jim Beam, and you know, just the country ass available whiskeys that were there. And I'm not at all hating on. I love those whiskeys and I love those brands. But in my 30s, when I had a little bit of money, I started to explore some better whiskeys, you know. And I remember the first time I had King Louis, and I was like,
yeah.
okay, I understand now. I know, I can taste, I know the difference now. And my dad is a connoisseur of sorts, you know, so
Did you notice
exploring
the whiskey
Japanese
was better?
whiskeys and shit, huh?
Did you notice the whiskeys were better when you were like touring through Kentucky a little bit, maybe, and just like?
Oh, we did. My
yeah.
dad and I did the Woodford Reserve tour.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
Yes,
we
you've
took
been back
Harleys from Chattanooga up the Buffalo Trail to
Nice.
see the Buffalo Trace Distillery, and we took the tour through the distillery, and yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, definitely.
No stranger. I mean, those seeing those distilleries is such a phenomenon. It's so eye opening. Anyone that gets a chance to go out there, highly recommend it. But like, I'm sure seeing that stuck with you. And did you do that? I assume before you had created this, right?
Yeah, definitely. By the way, doctor's office clean the entire property of Buffalo Trace. Like,
Yeah.
It's true.
perfect. And that was also like, damn, you know, you think about, a lot of people don't think about alcohol or whiskey or spirits and in the lane of people who are super organized and like and clean about what they do, you know. But that was a big eye opener for me. It's like the brand, it spoke for itself. You stepped on the property, you're like, man, these people really, really care about what they do, you know. They really, really take care of it. I was inspired by that part, not just the whiskey itself, but how they operated and took care of their brand. But yeah, man.
So where's this one made then?
This is made in North Carolina.
Oh,
Is that
okay,
right?
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why North Carolina? Out of curiosity, what happens there that
You know,
found
they had this. So the story behind Creekwater is that they had this blend, and they could not move it. It was in a different bottle with a different label, and so David was like, listen, they have this bottle, we're having trouble getting it out the door. Basically, they needed a brand ambassador to step in and to back it, you know. And so I was like, well, I'll get behind it if I can design the bottle and the label and, you know, and run the creative side of it. When we changed a few notes, you know, to better match my palate or what I thought my fans would enjoy. And we went from there with Creekwater as the face of the whiskey. But that distillery had been in place for a while before I became a part of it.
you
So
don't see too many
No, you
North
don't hear about
Carolina.
North Carolina
I'm
very
like
much.
racking my brain, and which I like to think is a broken encyclopedia of whiskeys. And I don't think I know anything from North Carolina off the top of my head.
These guys are amazing, super, super passionate about what they do. Like, you know, very, very passionate. And but we're in the process now of possibly opening up a distillery in Tennessee and getting on the Tennessee Whiskey Trail.
Oh,
Really?
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Which will allow us to have a certified Tennessee whiskey. So we're excited about that. We've already picked out a couple spots off the trail, looked at some properties, and we're looking to open a distillery in Tennessee.
Would you try to keep similar to what you already have going so that there's a consistency if you were to move, or would you continue to make this product there and do something different at the new spot?
No, I would definitely bring over the original recipe to Tennessee. And I think
Nice.
it's important to maintain, no matter what we do or what flavors we explore, this will always be. And there's because it's the baby, it's the beginning.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we'll always have this bottle. You know, bottles change, man. Like the old number 7 bottle changed like 15 times before
Oh,
they
it always
settled on
happens,
the classic bottle that we know about today. So we may change notes here and there. We may try, you know, like the cinnamon. You know, we have for the Mudmouth album, we've created a coffee whiskey drink called Mudmouth.
Oh, sweet.
That's
Wait,
kinda like a
cream
liqueur or
or
something?
cream or just
Like a
coffee whiskey?
premixed black coffee whiskey blend.
When's that coming out?
Yeah.
Canned, right? It's canned, right? It'll be a canned
we
premix.
gotta get some of that on the
Yeah,
show,
no
man.
kidding, man. We'll have to do a little follow up on that.
If it's not whiskey, if it's not whiskey going in my body, it's coffee. It's one of the two.
Creekwater is
together.
Creekwater is insanely good mixed with coffee. Like really, really good.
I can see it 100%.
Right? It's
Well,
got
here's the thing. If I'm gonna put like a one note description on this, is candy corn to me. It has all these kind of like starchy sort of like, it kind of has a grit to it, and it has a graininess to it. That's
Wow.
first of all interesting. But it's candy corn.
It's candy corn.
Halloween, not like too sweet, but if you had to describe the kind of sugar, I think it's candy corn. Maybe a little marshmallowy like fluff to it, but the corn is prevalent. 75% corn mash bill.
Right.
So the corn is prevalent, and I don't mean like candy corn tastes like yellow corn. That's not obviously a thing, but there's a sweetness, and I had to put my finger on it, man. It's candy corn.
That's crazy. I can fully taste candy corn now because I know exactly what candy corn. I can remember it as soon as I tasted it again. I was like, "Yep, there's definitely candy corn." in there.
I like candy corn, and this is hitting the notes, man. This is and it's smooth. It's got a little bite at the front. It fades right out, and the finish on it, really smooth. The fact that you're putting this out sub $30, the fact that you're giving people 100 proof, is
high proof at that price point. It's great.
doubly awesome for people. And I think maybe, let's get into a little bit about Slumerica here for a second.
So Slumerican started actually about maybe 13 or 14 years ago as a tattoo. I was on the way to a tattoo shop, and it just hit me, like the play on words, slum American, Slumerican. It just kind of like, I was like, that's an ill word, like it just made sense to me immediately. And I thought of it, I drew it up, I had it tattooed on the back of my leg, and I started to reference things as Slumerican, as kind of a way to describe the lifestyle or culture that I grew up on. Like if I saw a kid in a lifted truck on mud tires, but he was playing, NWA, that was Slumerican to me. That juxtaposition was what represented Slumerican to me. Or, a dude who's got a Pantera t-shirt on, but he's also an Outkast fan, and he grew up on Leonard Skinner, but he's artistic, and he's moved by more thought-provoking art, and being from Alabama and being from a small town, there's lots of like cultural boundaries that come around, and I always thought that we were misunderstood for the most part, and Slumerican just became a way to expand on the idea of who we were. And it went from a tattoo to tattoos worldwide. So I started talking about it in my music and hashtagging it on all my posts, and I would take a photo of something that I considered to be Slumerican, or an article of clothing, or anything at all that I thought fit within the realm of what Slumerican was. I would continue to push that, and I did that for, I've been doing that for the past 10 years. And now we have like jewelry makers, hat makers, boot makers, people who build choppers, painters, photographers, skateboarders, leather goods, people who make these things from scratch, and they'll hashtag Slumerican, Slumerican made, because it's now becoming more and more understood of what it is that we represent. And whiskey just kind of falls in the realm of what we do and how we live. Yeah. So it made sense for us. I mean, like, again, I've been talking about whiskey forever. But as a brand and as a family, and I would say it's got legs definitely to become a culture. I think that's a big word to say that it is a culture.
It feels like it is. I mean,
Certainly.
from all accounts and everything I've researched just for today alone, I am like blown away. Music is one thing, whiskey's one thing, but creating a movement, a lifestyle based on your observations and your upbringing and your life, and defining it and slumming,
Slumming it.
Not slumming
Yeah,
it.
no. He's slumming it. That's good.
Compiling it down into
Slumming it down.
Slumerican as a word that says all of that in one word, and coining that's crazy, man. I mean, that's really big, and that'll last a long time. People will remember that or think they came up with that, and they're gonna look it up and they're gonna be like, oh no, this is the guy who made this. This is the guy who made this a thing.
Yeah, it was. Well, I never wanted to feel alone in my ideas. There's something like rewarding about the we of it. You know, like I like to see kids that will paint their own leather jackets or whatever, and they'll hashtag Slumerican because they're proud of being a part of something, and that's more rewarding than an actual reward, or it's more rewarding than money or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, it feels rad that a lot of people have adopted the word as part of their lifestyle, even committing to full face tattoos. Like I've seen like fans with full face Slumerican blast, across their cheeks.
Cameron's getting
and
his.
foreheads.
He's getting his on Thursday.
It's
actually,
healing up right now. It's underneath. Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting to me. Like when I hear you talk about this, I feel like there's a couple of references to things being handmade. I mean, you talk about in your music feeling, very analog, making things by hand. I mean, even the flip top on the bottle is a very tactile thing.
which I love that
Painting
it's,
their
I love that
own-
it's gold. By the way,
yeah,
The flip
exactly.
Top, you've seen a flip top
Yeah.
on a bottle or two in the past. Like there was a vodka that did that one time or whatever. But
Yeah, but it's all like plastic.
this one's gold.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like it's such a old timey kind of whiskey bottle effect from a packaging standpoint. But the fact that it's like looks like it's solid gold is kind of like a really funny, like you said, juxtaposition of this sort of like, okay, it's like an old timey whiskey bottle, but it's got this like little twang of
like flash to it.
flash or
Yeah.
bling or something that's a little, I don't want to say hood rich, but it's got like a vibe to it that you've gone above and beyond on this kind of otherwise forgettable detail about a bottle, and you've spruced it up, and that's kind of a big deal actually. It's like from a packaging standpoint.
Yeah, we fought for that, man. It was so the basis of our brick and mortar and the basis of like the colorways for Slumerican has always been black and gold, white and red usually, and as you can see, that's the basis of the color palette to like what we do. Like my shop is all dark burnt wood with gold legs and gold accents. So I just wanted to just to mirror that. And it really, that's the most expensive part of the whiskey is this. And man, it was not easy to convince them to do this, but to make this gold was a mission. But we did it. And also getting the flag embossed on the back of the glass.
Yeah, there's a
that's
nice
good
little
looking.
raised glass.
And there's also a gold leaf stamp of the flag on the bottom left corner. So we paid attention. My first motorcycle is like an old chopper, Indian Larry dedication bike, and I've got gold wheels on it.
There you
It's
go.
like an
Oh,
old
nice.
chopper. But yeah, the whole vibe has always been like, when you come from, it's like it is putting the gold accent on the whiskey. That's the juxtaposition,
Yeah.
It's $24.99. Why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's like
it works though. It works
Yeah.
so well.
making you feel like something. It's like having a pair of $1,200 Lucchese boots on, but you also have a $2 mesh hat from a gas station.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about
saying?
these
Like-
types of juxtapositions. Can you think of something while you were growing up, or maybe when you first started making music? Like, what was that big first juxtaposition for you?
I'll tell you exactly. It was when Run DMC and Aerosmith walked through my front door in Fort Payne, Alabama, when my mother's long-term boyfriend was on the road with Aerosmith during the Walk This Way tour. And there was nowhere to party. Alabama on the weekend was a dry county. And so my mom's boyfriend had the party house. So
There you go.
that was the first time that I had seen. I was like 6 or 7 years old, but I remember vividly being handed my Adidas T-shirt and a Beastie Boys License to Ill tape, and that was my first introduction to hip hop. But at that very moment, I was surrounded by rock and roll and outlaw country music, like Dwight Yoakam and Alabama, and so, and we were like going to church with the Jennings family and Winona Judd and Randy Travis and shit. So I was like around
Wow.
a lot of country music, and I was around a lot of rock stars like Ted Nugent, 10,000 Maniacs, REO Speedwagon. These were bands that were around my life as a child, and when hip hop came around via Run DMC and then Beastie Boys, that was the first moment that I saw juxtaposition take place. Not that I knew how to define it then, because I was just a kid, but looking back, that was for sure the moment. It was the Adidas with no shoestrings and the cowboy boots in the same room partying.
That's awesome.
Man, it's the fusion of all of that is just insane, and I feel like you yourself and your music and those experiences, you're the byproduct of that, and you've really been able to not lose sight of it, and you've done all these things as a result of it, but also haven't lost sight of it, and that's
Yeah, how do you stay grounded and
Yeah.
stay to your roots during all of this? Obviously,
There's a great question.
There's so much to be. I have to thank my mom a lot for her style of her lifestyle and the way that she viewed people. And I remember her always saying, like, wherever we went, okay, now listen, Steven Tyler's in here. Don't trip out. Treat him like you treat everybody else. Blah, blah, blah. She would just give me the whole spill. Every time we met anybody, now listen, we're about to get on a bus with Trisha Yearwood, okay? Now, she's a big-time star. Just chill out. She would always give me that thing. She's like, just be yourself. Don't act like... So that kind of stuck with me, and not over-appreciating someone for no reason because of their perceived fame or whatever, it made me appreciate who we were, because we didn't have shit at the time, like we were still hustling and struggling, but my mom always acted as if, so that acting as if she was a part of it already and she had nothing to be ashamed of at all, like she just ate a ketchup sandwich and can barely afford the rent and would walk up in a party like she ran it, So that was like
cool.
So she gave me the confidence.
Badass.
She gave me the confidence to rock in any situation, and just have a vision and have faith and to persevere through things, So, balancing it is just that comes natural. And that just comes with just putting your head down and working. Things seem to fall into place when you just work really fucking hard.
Well, it's been basically confirmed by all that you are one of the hardest, if not the hardest working artists right now. And, the fact that you can come in here and say that as a working professional in the entertainment industry, that COVID has not affected you. And in fact, the reverse, you've had one of the best years, busiest years ever, says, a lot, speaks volumes to how hardworking and creative and successful you have been, even during a time when a lot of people are sitting around jumping on Cameo doing birthday videos. Like, it doesn't sound like you're doing that. So
No, when we were in Europe on tour when Trump made the call to either come home or stay, you know. So we had to stop tour halfway through.
yeah.
And so we flew home, quarantined, and I just built a little studio in my closet underneath my stairs, and I wrote Mudmouth, and I wrote part of Sometimes Why. And as soon as I had the opportunity to jump in the studio, I went to record. And meanwhile, you know, drawing and designing for Slumerican and having conversations about the cinnamon whiskey and approving those bottles and doing as much as we could over the phone until we could be let loose to hit the streets. And then we did. We went buck. I mean, we thrived during this situation, but we've kind of always thrived in those situations. I mean, the pressure of standing in a cipher with Eminem, I'm telling you, is no joke. You know what I mean? And preparing for that is intense, to say the least. You know, like, so having or standing up in front of 300,000 people that no one knows who you are, and it takes a lot of heart. So I think that the adversity is where we thrive. That's just where, if I'm too comfortable, you know, like, I'll just like go make my situation harder so that I can I can work harder. Like, my manager trips out. My manager and friends have tripped out. Like, dude, do you like personally, do you sabotage yourself when you go to make an album? What's wrong with you? Because every time I'll go to make an album, I'll be like, I'm leaving. I'll just fucking go like camp out at the studio, you know, run out of gas. All this shit starts happening in my life. I'm like, shit sucks right now, but it makes the music amazing, you know.
There you go.
That's crazy.
If I'm too comfortable, I'm not stoked. I'm not. Complacency is not my.
Well, don't drink
thing.
too much Creekwater, because then you're gonna be like crazy relaxed. Like, I'm feeling good from that first.
I know.
One, and it's worth mentioning. It won like gold medal, SIP awards, Consumer Choice Awards pick for 2019. And now we've got the cinnamon.
Yeah, I want to try the other one, because
whiskey.
he's talking about, you know, putting this red bottle together. Let's get it.
Yeah, so this one, like a lot of cinnamon whiskeys, is a little lower. Yeah, a little lower in proof. We got 70 proof, 35% alcohol. Now this one, right out of the gate, the nose is way more cinnamon spice, like spicy spice, like that hot cinnamon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Versus the kind of more
can't miss it on the nose.
aromatic, like cinnamon candle or like a cinnamon pie or some shit like that. Like, it's not that. This is more like heat, spice cinnamon, which is fascinating. Think like Big Red Gum.
Oh yeah, but I actually do think there is a pie aspect to this. There is sort of this like kind of baked.
The sugar.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's extremely prevalent on the nose.
It is actually a little apple pie.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
In the finish.
I mean, this is like throw this in Thanksgiving dinner, and you're at home.
I could cook with this shit. I can make like a like not that I cook really ever, but like if I were to cook, I could see this making its way into like a dish of some kind, because it's got like those kind of baking spices on the end, but the nose really is Big Red.
I'll tell you what
sure.
we worked hard on is making sure that it didn't have a medicinal aftertaste like a lot of cinnamon whiskeys have. That's like that was a big deal to us, to try to fight that as much as we could.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
There's
you can you can call him out. You can say Fireball.
Yeah. I fuck with Fireball. My mom loves Fireball, and that was the big thing for me. I was like, man, like, I'm trying to get Mom up on something new, you know, like.
I hope she's drinking this now, right?
Oh, for 100%.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, 100%. So,
like, Mom, what do I have to do to get you to stop drinking
Wait a minute,
Fireball?
I feel like
make
you're
a cinnamon whiskey. And by the way, it sounds like you're gonna say this. Your mom sounds like the coolest person ever.
Is your mom cooler than you?
by light years. By light years, my mother's cooler than I
I
am.
kind of want to be like, yo, can I get invited to your mom's
Next
party?
episode, we're drinking the coffee whiskey, and your mom's got to come down.
there you
She gotta,
go.
like,
Okay,
slam
my
the stuff
mother's
with
name,
us.
first of all, is Mama Wolf.
Mama Wolf.
Straight. Okay, so my mother is still to this day getting tattooed. Been getting tattooed for years. She's got like a Stevie Nicks Fleetwood Mac dress style that's really rad. She wears like long fringe and boots and bandanas over her boots. She wears and supports Slumerican 1,000%. She's been growing her own weed since I was a little boy. She's a pistol toting fucking gangster.
Is she in Tennessee or is she in?
My mom totes a pink 45 that says Mama Wolf down the side. And my mother is an angel though. She raised 16 years old when I was born. So she's been a big sister for most of my life, a lot like a big sister, but
So then my
we're really
question
close.
is, you got Creekwater, so when's Mama Wolf spinoff
big
brand
sister,
coming?
but my mother. We are from Alabama.
I feel like Mama Wolf needs her own whiskey, like a
Mama,
spinoff.
Mama Wolf whiskey.
Yeah.
That's the spinoff.
Well, Mama Wolf I'm trying to get her, working on a Mama Wolf weed strain for her.
Okay.
So that's her passion really is marijuana, like she loves to smoke, so she's passionate about that. She does love to drink, but hey, we'll see. Maybe there could be a Mama Wolf drink.
Now,
There you
is
go.
the Slumerican brand as a business strictly limited to just fashion? And
No, Creekwater is under Slumerican.
It's under Slumerican. So could we see like a Slumerican Reserve, like cast strength edition of this one day? Or where's maybe the better question is, where's the whiskey going to go other than the coffee? Do you have a vision way out into where you want to see this thing grow into beyond just these couple products? Or
Yeah, I can see Creekwater becoming a spirits brand and just allowing the creativity of the distillery to grow and let them come up with some drinks and let them continue to explore. Because I can imagine distilling whiskey is a lot like making music. You want to continue to try things, and
Art.
you could hit a hit record, but just keep pushing it and let's see what happens with it. Because I certainly wouldn't want to limit them and their creativity to say, just do this, just do cinnamon, and we're good, because they're bound to roll around with this. Like this last Mudmouth idea was amazing, like the coffee whiskey blend with the album, and just the whole idea of Mudmouth and the color of it. It just made sense. So I don't want to put a cap on it. I also don't want to put expectations creatively to the brand, but I see it definitely worldwide. I see it continuing to grow. It'll take a minute to get more legs on it, and but it's growing well. We landed a Walmart account this past year, which was huge, and that spawned a whole new relationship with Walmart and Slumerican. So it's the catalyst to something that's bigger than bigger than clothes and bigger than music. It's expanding on the idea of Slumerican and what we do.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it's on Cask Cartel as well, and our boss, gave us a call and they were like,
Cask Cartel.
We cannot keep this in stock. Like we're just selling
It's
crazy
flying.
amounts of it. So
well,
like,
that's the beauty is you can get this now online, and thank God for friggin' internet, because a lot of people couldn't get out, couldn't go to the stores, couldn't, they had health pre-existing, whatever. They couldn't, it's a risk to go. You can buy it online. It'll show up at your doorstep. You don't have to leave the house if you don't want to. You don't. It's a risk or whatever. Don't. But you can still try this, and I think that it ships pretty much to most states, with the exception of a select few that have like stringent alcohol laws. But it's really worth a try, honestly. I say that, we've drank everything from the lowest end brand to some of the highest end brands out there. And I think we're coming into year 2 almost, Cam.
Yeah, exactly.
Year 2. Year 1 was nuts. But the ability to sit down and dive into what's behind these bottles. I mean,
know.
And then here's the real life example. No joke. I've seen Creekwater before I knew you were behind it or involved or anything. I just saw it on the shelf in a liquor store.
Man, that
and
means
you see
a lot.
Bottle,
Yeah.
and you go, huh, what's that? And you look at it, you pick it up, you go, okay, cool. And you go, okay. And then there's so many products out there. I think the beauty of the podcast and the industry is that you really can't just walk past something and you have no idea how big and how much. Look at all the stuff that went in, the history and the culture and the movement and the music behind this whiskey. And you just look at it, you got to look it up. You got to take it. You got to pick this stuff up and you got to give it a go and you got to research it because there's so much there. You would never know.
I know.
You would never know.
What I would actually say is potentially this whiskey's greatest strength is how authentic it is to you. I think it's very easy for celebrities, across a lot of different, genres, if you will, to say, hey, I'm going to just go put my name on something and because I'm big and I have X amount of followers, it's going to sell. And, I've listened to your music. Now I'm sitting across from you. I feel as though this has your touch on it. And it's very hard to do that. It's very hard to get very, very authentic with creating something like that because at the end of the day, this is something that was distilled and then they brought it back to you. And I think that that's a fantastic collaboration.
Thank you.
Speaking of collaborations, I'd really like to know, do you have any other future collaborations in mind or things that you're just like, hey, I'd be really stoked to do this in the future?
So we just looked at a piece of property with some potential partners at the foothills of the Smoky Mountains, right at the opening of the national park. And on that property could potentially be like a VIP Slumerican trailer park,
Okay.
like a distillery, a flagship store,
I can see it.
a stage for performing. Just kind of a destination spot for the brand. I think that's one goal of ours, whether it ends up being there or somewhere else, having a destination spot for the fans, like where it's all there. Everything that we do and everything we represent is there. And we're venturing off into cut and sew, starting to create our own boots and denims and leathers and hats and things of that nature that flow along with the brand. And just continuing to push the envelope, custom cars, custom bikes, and basically curating things based on our tastes and our vision. I started making furniture about 4 years ago, and I had some really, really rad people come and purchase some really amazing pieces from me. So
Wait, when you say you started making furniture, I mean, are we talking like handmade wood stuff, or what do you mean?
like Tuft 5150 Chelsea couches and shit, like 5150 pattern velvet trailer park couches and shit, just
my God,
just rad
man.
shit that's like, or like kitchen counters that my friend Smurf, who paints choppers, I have him like custom panel flake, paint job on kitchen counters and gold flake garbage disposals and shit, just fun shit that I enjoy seeing around my house, that if I like it, I try to just put it into the brand or the company and be like, man, it'd be cool if we can make this affordable for people to be able to enjoy, because why not, just keep pushing. We'll see where it goes. At the forefront of everything is music and art, and visuals is always going to be at the front of what we do. But our our brand had the biggest year of its existence this past year. Like we tripled our growth this past year.
That's incredible.
You haven't wasted a second.
Yeah.
You haven't
No.
wasted a second of your time on this earth, man. You have not wasted a second. And you,
Well, I can't. I don't know about that. There's been some nights.
lately. Maybe
I don't
maybe
waste
they
the seconds that I'm focused. But at some point, I do take breaks.
Everyone
trust me.
needs
Yeah.
a break. But
Yeah.
no, it just, the impression feels that way. There's such a weight to all these things you've got your hands on, and furniture, fashion, music, and not
Yeah.
in that order, obviously. Music, furniture, fashion, whiskey. It's so cool to see your influence evolve and touch all these different elements of business, but also putting your touch on it and having your impact on it. And
I mean,
it's
at the
good.
end of the
It's really
day,
good.
at the end of the day, I think that the core of what I am is just I'm just a designer that found music as an avenue to create, but long before I'd ever touched a beat machine or a microphone, I had a clothing brand called Alabama Slangwich, and I was printing shirts and mesh hats and selling them out of the trunk of my box Chevy around Bessemer and Birmingham, and I would just pop the trunk and sell clothes.
So you've
You know.
always been combining words, basically.
Yeah, it's also, that's also a great brand name too. I love that
So
one.
that's the first thing.
Alabama
There you go.
Slanguage.
Yeah, that was. The hat said Alabama Slangwich, and then the shirt would have a slang and the definition of that word
There you go.
underneath
great.
it.
Wait, what? So can you teach us some of the slang?
Well,
Yeah, it's a good question.
I know, because West Coast, we got
one
our
of
own
them
slang
was
out here.
one of them was holler at you, and it was just. I think the definition was, "Hello, how are you?" Like something very very plain and simple. But it's just holler at you, with the "Hello, how are you? Have a good day,"
So those are collector's items now. You can't get those anymore.
Yeah, they're really, really rare. My boy Cambo has one. My friend Grip Pliers, rest in peace. He rocked one up until the day he died. But yeah, they're really hard to find these days. But yeah, just designing, man. Designing is fun. Like
cool.
what can I say?
He's done an amazing job with the whiskey.
Yeah.
I could tell you I don't know if you knew this, but James Hetfield from Metallica designed the logo for Metallica. Like he did that.
Mm-hmm.
When I found that out, I was like, damn, all right, cool, rad. Because sometimes it's a little, it can feel like you're displaced. You feel displaced from being an artist when you got your hands in so much shit. Like it can feel a little bit like watered down in a way. But the fact is, I just can't stop my mind from running, and I'm not gonna put brakes on it just because of perception. What that perception may be, it is what it is. But yeah, if I want to make a fucking couch, I'm making a couch. If I want to make a record, I'm gonna make a record, and I'm not gonna make excuses about it. I'm just gonna do it.
So what am I
That's
making
it.
today?
Yeah, I know.
A cake. He's making a
Yeah.
cake. Like,
No.
whatever the fuck he wants to do.
Well,
man.
people throw shit at me all the time. What about Slumerican donuts, slum nuts,
Like
or whatever?
Trejo's
I'm like,
tacos.
I'm
It's
like,
like
nah,
Trejo's.
man. Like, you ever think about doing like people? What about Slumerican beef jerky? I was like, I don't know, man. So I hear shit. All kinds of shit comes to my door all the
People
time.
must be throwing stuff at you.
I know.
Not all
Pretty
the
wild.
David Longs of the world are that lucky though, probably, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
they got to come at it correctly.
yeah. Well, going back to what you're saying creatively about like maintaining the integrity of the bottle or like implementing my own style into the bottle, as you were mentioning earlier. Thank you for recognizing that, and because that's the biggest challenge. I say no 98% of the time. That's a big thing, and it's not always easy to tell someone no when they think they have an amazing idea that's gonna fit you perfect. This is perfect for you, and you're like, nah, man, it's not. I'm sorry.
Well, only you
If you
know
t-
what's perfect for you, and you seem
Yeah.
to have a good grasp on what that means, even after all of the success.
Yeah. Yeah, I've turned some things down before, and I've been like, "You're not Slumerican. You never were." I'm like, dude, like, I created it. What are you talking about? Like, I definitely know what it is. Oh, it's so funny, man.
Like there are a few companies out there that know their own brand as well as you know your own brand. It's kind of refreshing to see just in talking to you and your look, your whiskey, everything you describe, growing up with your mom, like you know your brand better than most Fortune 500 companies could probably describe their own brand, and that's pretty phenomenal. I think that alone is like pretty crazy, just as from a business perspective too. It's just nuts. Yeah. So, well, I mean, let's
Thank you.
Kind of final thoughts here. So Creekwater cinnamon, that's kind of a fun little like diversion from the everyday cinnamon whiskey.
Yeah, here's what I'll say. I'll drink the regular Creekwater at home, but if I got a chance to come to your show in the future, I'm drinking the cinnamon. Because to me, it's a party, It's like, it's a little bit less alcohol.
I kind of want to
put
them together. I want to put them together. I put them together on ice, like 2 parts regular, 1 part cinnamon. And then I put them together and I put a little ice cube in there. And that's kind of like a cocktail at that point, because you're getting way more of the sweet from the cinnamon, and you got the backbone of that 50%, heavy whiskey.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I put a post up the other day. It's a homie of mine, Coyote. He's in a bathtub and he's got a Creekwater bottle hanging out of the bathtub. He's like fully in his clothes. He's looking at the camera like he got hit, So I put it up as a post, kind of almost like an ad for Creekwater. Like, don't get it fucked up. This is 100 proof. If you straight shoot this and pound this, it's curtains.
Yeah.
Like most whiskey companies wouldn't tell you that, but we don't care. Like it's us. We don't care. We'll tell you, chill out, man. Like, sip it, relax. It's if you take 4 or 5 shots of this back to back, you're getting carded home, man. You're probably not going to to remember much.
The Americans aren't listening, though. They're just doing it.
No.
I mean,
do you. If it's what you want to do, go for it. But yeah, you're right. Like, the cinnamon is definitely, it's lesser alcohol, like 70 proof, like you were saying. It's not 100 proof, 70 proof. It's made to enjoy and have fun, and so you can enjoy your night longer.
There you go.
Yeah. If you're choosing to drink quicker, then I would suggest drinking some cinnamon whiskey. Man. Yeah, this is a sipper, chill out.
There you go.
It is, and I just actually poured a little more. Man, excellent job through and through. I mean, this is something to be proud of,
fun.
Man.
Yeah, not only did you created something great, but it's been a blast to chat with you. Like, what do you want to leave your fans with?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me and supporting Creekwater and Slumerican. And I think that if I wanted the fans to take anything from this interview, it's just that I want them to know how much I appreciate them. And 2020, we not only survived, we thrived as a company. I thrived as an artist, and we thrived as a collective. And we stuck together. We wrote it out. I've got so much new music coming out, so much new rap merch, and so many amazing new cut and sew items that are coming through. We finally are starting to do cut and sew for women, so we're going to break through that. We even started doing stuff for kids. We're going to drop stuff for kids this year. I'm really, really excited about the kids shit.
I need the onesie. I got a baby at home. Dude. I need this Slumerican onesie. I'm not. Will
your baby rock a onesie that says "fuck off"?
Yes, my grandmother won't like it, but I was gonna say she's not on Instagram, but she actually is, so, which is like a whole new world for me.
I was like, that was because my kids were that way. I would like put crazy shit on my kids just because it was just so dope. I love that idea.
I'm gonna have my kid like sitting on a freaking whiskey barrel when they're 1 year old, man. It's like, dude,
I'm gonna send you a box of onesies.
I want the Slumerican.
Do you have any tattoos?
I don't have any tattoos, but maybe I get my first one. It'll be Slumerica with my baby on it.
We got a onesie. We got a onesie that says "My dad's covered in tattoos." I love my dad's tattoos. I think it says.
My Jewish parents would be very upset if they saw my baby in that onesie.
Oh, man. The fuck off one is so hard.
Fuck off one's great. I like that.
That's great. Man.
That's fucking awesome that you made that.
Raised
Great.
on dope money.
There you go.
There you go.
But
Wow,
yeah, just having fun with it, man. Like it's 2021 is gonna be a lot of fun, and yeah, I wish everybody the best in 2021, man. I wish you guys the best and all the fans that are watching, and just stay focused and positive and shake off the nonsense, man. Try not to absorb all the bullshit that's going down online and social media, and be a human. Go interact with people.
Have a drink, man.
Yeah. Especially if it's Creekwater.
Oh yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, Yelawolf. We appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Cheers.
The spirits consumed on this show are available at caskcartel.com. They are America's largest online premium spirits marketplace. You can follow us on social media at Cartel Hour, where you can find information about upcoming episodes as well as the free spirits giveaways we do quite often. And if you're a spirits brand that would like to come on the podcast, please email us at host@cartelhour.com or send us a direct message on Instagram. Our theme music is by Verified Picasso. Thank you everyone for listening, and remember to always drink responsibly and in good company.